Hello everyone and welcome back to Art a la Carte, and in this video I'm going to be showing you a speed drawing that I'm doing of a dragon eye, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks so that you too can create your own dragon eye. Well, the first thing you're going to see is I am not drawing on white paper. I'm actually drawing on some black cardstock that I got from my local craft store. It's a nice weighted paper, and later on in this video I'm going to talk about what kind of paper works best with color pencils. I'm putting in the initial sketch of my dragon eye using just a regular leaded pencil, and you'll see that the lead is kind of coming out almost white, and that's just because of the kind of the shine off the lead, but it really lets me see things that are going on there so that I can get a nice little sketch, and it blends really nicely in with the color pencils. First, let me tell you a little bit about my idea with this piece. I wanted to push myself to see if I could create an eye that seemed reflectant and kind of maybe that it was like glowing a little bit on its own. So I wanted the eye to be kind of this yellowish glowing orb and kind of then have the scales wrapped around it. I'd seen several different pictures of people who did this digitally, but I hadn't seen anything done with traditional art like colored pencils, so I thought, let's give that a go, because I know how to do that digitally. I know what techniques to use of that, but drawing traditionally, that would be a little bit more challenging for that effect. So it was a good challenge for myself. I'd never actually tried to do this on colored paper before, and it's kind of fun. I like drawing on toned or colored paper with colored pencils because it really makes your colors super, super vibrant. Like your lighter colors just are super bright. And then your darker colors, the vibrancy of that color is super rich. So it's fun. It's harder to get shadows because your shadows are created from the color of your paper. And so that can be a little bit challenging, and I think I had to work around that a little bit with this piece here. Now you could use any color combination you want for this dragon eye. I decided that I wanted kind of a yellowish glowing eye, but you could have a green glowing eye or a purple glowing eye or a blue glowing eye, whatever color eye you want. You could do that. You could have a hot pink one, that'd be fun. So instead of just coloring the whole eye yellowish orange, I wanted to have a whole range of different kinds of colors in there. So you'll see I put some yellows and oranges and reds, and I'm trying to bring the darker shades to the corners of the eyes where the eyelids are, and a little bit into the center of the eye where the pupil is, and then bringing out just these really bright, vibrant colors. And it took a lot of time to work with that to get it to that stage. It took a lot of blending your colors and working with them to get to that. Another thing you're going to want to think about is the amount of work that you put on your paper. Your paper is only going to accept so much work with colored pencils. If you look at paper, and I talk a lot about this in more detail in my Colored Pencil 101 tutorial series that I've done, but if you feel paper, you're going to feel that some paper is really smooth, some paper has a little bit more texture. We call that texture tooth. And so with colored pencils, you're going to want something that has a fair amount of tooth. If it has too much texture, then you're going to get a really strong texture line in your color pencils, and that's not going to work either. But you want something that's not silky, plasticky smooth, because there's nothing to grab onto the color pencil. So this piece was like a cardstock. It had a nice little tooth to it as well, but any pressure, if I push too hard on my pencil, it's going to flatten that tooth out, make it really smooth, and it's really then hard to get it to grab onto the color pencil. So you kind of want to judge how much work you want to put on it before you burnish it. So now at this point, I'm beginning to put in the colors of my scales, and again, you can choose whatever color combination you want. But to add to that kind of glowing effect that I wanted, I treated the eye as if it was a light source. So as I'm laying in my colors and my shadows and my highlights, I did it in a way that how the light would reflect off of that, and it really added this kind of really cool effect. I also decided I didn't want to just stick with one color scale. I thought it'd be fun to kind of have it transition from one color, say purple, into another color like blue. And so one corner of the eye has purple, and then as it comes around it turns blue, but then I kind of have them mixed and blend, and it really was a cool effect. I wasn't sure if it would look good or look weird. I didn't want like a patchwork quilt looking dragon eye, but I was able to blend them smoothly together to create that effect. Now when drawing the scales, you'll notice that I drew kind of the little shapes, but I left spaces between each scale. And that one creates a nice shadow, which adds a really good texture. It helps to pop out those different scales. And two, it adds that kind of grooves that you're going to need between things. It makes it look more like that plated armor. If you put them just so close together that you don't have it where it can come down and have that individual separation, then you're going to have a more smooth scaled dragon. So depending on if you want a rough scale or a smooth scale, you'll have shorter or smaller distances between the gaps. You'll have smaller gaps. That's what it boils down to. When I look at pictures that people have done that are just amazing and photo-like quality, I often ask myself, what is the difference between what I can do and that piece? And I'll tell you, the main element that is needed for that is time. Just the time needed to spend on this piece. Now, I think this piece took me about an hour to do, and I think that was the minimal amount of time that I could spend on this piece. I think had I slowed myself down even slower and really pushed myself to get into those details, you know, the veins in the eyes, I think this piece could have been even more amazing. But I think for the first try of doing this kind of technique of a glowing eye, I think it turned out pretty well. And I suggest if you guys are trying a new technique, say you want to do a dragon with glowing eyes, don't try to draw the whole dragon. Try something like this where you're just taking an element of that and just practicing with it. But it turned out really well. I like it. It was fun. Hopefully you found this fun as well. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave me a comment or a thumbs up. If you're brand new to this channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future videos. If you have any suggestions for other different things you'd like to see me draw or do tutorials on, leave those in the comment section below. And as always, God bless you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Nope, I'm not done yet. Still working. Okay, now I'm done.